Hi y'all, it's Kate at Kate's Garden Chicken and Cat Rambles. If you follow my videos, you know that in the wee hours of Tuesday morning, this hammock got blown across the yard, closer to the street, and on its path it took out my glass bird bath. So, I've cleaned all that up, and I'm going to use a platter that I had. I used to use it as a bird bath, and then I was like, oh, it might get broke and I would never be able to use it, you know, if I'm entertaining or have company. I don't ever have company or entertain people. So, you know, at least this way it'll get used. And it makes a perfect, this thing doesn't want to stand upright for me. It makes a perfect bird bath. So, here it is. I don't know how well you can see it with isn't it lovely? I bought it about 25 years ago at an antique store. I don't know how much older than 25 years old it is, but it's lovely. I think with the fish at the bottom, I don't know, there's something about it that just makes it a good bird bath. You're seeing the reflection of the sky in it. But it's got fish, and they've got kind of a rainbow pattern, little seashells, looks like little bubbles, and I will use it again as a bird bath. As a platter goes, it's much heavier than the former bird bath, which actually I've bought the bird baths that were designed to be bird baths, and I've had so many of those broke just from break. They just fall over or get knocked over. And so about 5 years ago, I went to the home goods store and found a nice heavy platter, a decorative platter, you know, that you either use for cold things or just, you know, like a lot of people, you set them in the middle of your dining room table and put fruit or whatever on it. But and that lasted many years until 2 days ago. So now we're going to put this up here. This has been blown over before. It's really heavy, it's really sturdy, so I don't see it breaking anytime soon. And if I start to get worried about it again, or the next time I'm over at near the Home Goods or Marshall's or somewhere, I might get a new platter for it. But I like to keep some fresh bird water for the bird bath. There's someone walking by, so I can be quiet. I don't like people watching me or hearing me film. This one doesn't hold as much water as the other one, but it's that nice little soft, smooth scalloped edges where the little bird used to stand on, and it's easy to clean. All the texture to it and grooves are on the bottom here. That's where you can like feel where it's however it's made, but the bowl part of it here is nice and smooth. And yes, we've had a lot of rain, and I've got a puddle there and another puddle at the end of the driveway, and the birds can bathe and drink out of that. But Paul and I are big freshwater aficionados, if you want to say that, for creatures. Just because we know that all the grime and the oil and the crap you get on your tires, you drag through those puddles and, you know, whatever. I just like to have a bird bath out here, even for when there isn't any puddles. But isn't that pretty? So that makes a lovely bird bath. I made a video showing the green garden as I was taking out like a vegetable garden. Why did I call it the green garden? Because I'm squirreling this afternoon. But anyhow, this is the monarch butterfly wildflower. English is not my first language today, I guess. Wildflower garden that is coming up quite nicely. Now there are some weeds and things that I need to go through here and pull out, but kind of like I said before in my other wildflower patch, until I see what's blooming and what's wildflowers and what is a weed, I mean, I'll pull out dandelions and this, like, I think it's a Bermuda grass. I don't think it's Johnson grass, but that I know is not a flower. But I don't want to disturb a lot of roots, because it's easy when, you know, you're thinking you just grabbed the grass and you've actually grabbed, you know, the thin stalk of a wildflower. So anyway, now my hands are dirty again. But the lily garden, I think the Stella D'Or are about done. The Yasmina still have quite a few pods I need to come through here probably tomorrow or when it dries off and knock off the spent blooms, just because they're ugly. They don't really hinder anything. But so once they're about done, this big oriental, those are daylilies. This is oriental. These are Asiatic. And then these big white orientals will come up. And hopefully this daylily here. I fed her the other day. This one always seems to struggle. I don't know if it doesn't have as rich a soil. There's too many rocks. But she is starting to make, let's see if I can get here. That little, dang it. I'm not a very good videographer. That's going to be a lily. And this will be the lilies that are flesh tone blush pink. But a good thing I wanted to show is the hydrangea. Remember 2 years ago, summer of 21, summer I broke my leg. Huge tree fell. We still got remnants of it, and crushed all 3 of these right at bloom time. It also crushed those lilies, which would be probably 3 times as many stalks if that hadn't happened. And last summer I got 1 bloom. Last summer was the first summer after, of course, they had been crushed. And I got 1 big purple bloom off that one. On that one this year, they're looking a little more kind of a pink, magenta pink. And this one is starting out purple. A lot of times they'll start out looking like that and they'll end up being this dark. But they are 2 different colors, so this one always makes the big traditional blue and purple ones. It hasn't bloomed in a couple years. The summer that it got broke, I knew that I had too vigorously pruned it the season before, so I knew I'd probably cut some new growth and had pruned it incorrectly. Well, I was pruning it correctly, but I get hyper-focused and I think I don't know what I did, but it didn't bloom. Last summer it didn't bloom. When it gets dry or hot, this one struggles the most because it's competing with that grove of little, I call it little grove of trees. But though the leaf patterns, they're the same species, these 2 seem to be more prolific bloomers. Of course, they're a lot younger, but hopefully I'll get some blooms out of that one. But the fact that I'm not seeing any of these little starter bloom pods probably is a good chance it won't. Maybe one will come up right out of there, and it might just be being a little bit behind, but it took the most damage from the top of the tree hit it, because it wasn't just like one branch or the trunk hit it in a spot where these were kind of halved. That one got the top of the tree, so it was widespread damage. But so yeah, hopefully the hydrangeas are going to do great. Now that tree is gone, I've debated whether or not, how long I'm going to leave them here. If I'm going to be able to have to move them just because of too much sun. But as this gets bigger, it helps. But behind me, where that tree fell, is the west. And so in late afternoons, it's getting sun. That's why I'm really not bothered by that growing back up a little bit. If that tree keeps on growing again, those little things Paul needs to take out. But like I said, we're waiting until the little baby bunnies are all grown up and out of there, because there is a bunny den back there straight in front of me underneath that tree, and there's like wild roses that grow there too, so it's a really protected spot. And Paul saw the little bunny nest when he was out here, and the bunnies come from there. So we're animal lovers, so we're not going to hurt anything. We're not going to destroy any kind of home or safety they've got for the summer. And then come fall, when this dies down a bit more and we can see what we're cutting and where we're stepping better, then hopefully Paul will get that cleaned out. But I'm not real worried about it. I like having something wild for the bunnies and little critters to live in. So I've said before, oops, sorry, there's somebody running. I've got more of the weed cloth. I just have to be ready to take the time to come out here, measure it, and place it, like right there where there's that kind of circular area right there where I'm panning. That's a bunch of tulips, and there's a bunch of tulips through here. So I don't want to cover them. I mean, if I temporarily cover them with mulch, they'll come up, but the weed mat will keep them from coming up. So, and like I've got the Italian bluebells grow along this side of that board. I just need to probably come out here. I don't like to use a weed killer, but might come out here with something. This is nothing we eat out here, so I may just get some weed killer and kill off these strawberries, because it's just so much work getting them and this Bermuda grass out. But you got to really do that on a day where there's no wind, and you can be very precise of where you spray weed killer, because I don't want to kill my rosemary bush, which is pushing 8-9 years old. So yeah, there's the Stellador. That is sage, and it's already bloomed, and I'll probably come out here in a few days when it dries up and pick some and dry it and grind it up for my own sage, salvia, crepe myrtle. But all along this sidewalk rim, about 8 to 10 inches from the sidewalk in, are my tulips. So I'm just gonna have to decide what I'm gonna do. Like I said, I may put shade cloth down, and only to about, this far away, and then I'm gonna cover it all in mulch. And like I said, next spring, the tulips can push up through the mulch as long as it's not super too heavy. But I just kind of want to put it into these wild strawberries. But, I can't say much. I like things to be a little wild, but it's not that wild, because I would like to keep this mainly a lily garden for bulbs, tulips and lilies. Lilies can handle the heat, they can handle the sun, and then when I want to plant new ones, I can just, burn a hole in the weed cloth and plant them, and they'll be just fine. So we'll see. I always have plans and I always run out of time or energy, but look how pretty the clover looks with all the little water droplets on it. Yeah, it's still misting. Bird bath is done. Got a little bit of water left in my jug, so I'm going to take it over here and pour it in something for the chickens, probably. I don't know if there's anything within my reach. They've got plenty of water. I'll just put it on these plants. Not that they need it anymore, but oh, there's a water dish I could probably reach, which has got pretty fresh water in it, but we'll just top it off with this. That was all fresh water yesterday afternoon, and of course it's got rain water in it. Chaos will come out here and drink out of the puddles like he's some wild bird, but I used, that's some food that was under there for when Whatchamadoodle Moira got out. I need to pull it out and dump it. I'm just not going to do it now. Well, I better do it now. The wild birds can eat it. But Chaos likes to drink out of their water, so I'm using this pink one here by his little apartment. And I noticed during the day, even if he doesn't like to lay in it if he can't see out. I think he has a thing about being snuck up on. Now, at night, when it was raining and windy, he definitely got in there. So I propped the sides back up. So if he wants to get in there today, he's out of the mist, which is blowing from my right, from the tree direction. This side of the tree stayed dry with all that blowing rain. This tree is huge, but so he likes to drink out of those little waterers. And because he is so picky about water, I'm just going to leave it. I brought it out here, put fresh water. He has fresh water on the back porch, but there's a young possum that comes up every night and eats the food that he doesn't eat. It also has a really bad problem with backwash. Yeah, it backwashes into this water. He's like, I don't want to eat it. That thing's got food particles in there. Different look at the garden. I harvested a lot of peas. That's in the earlier video. I am so pleased with the way these peas did. I still may go back to using Mr. Big Pea next year, but the green magic peas from Haas Tools, primo, wonderful. So I'm gonna let you go. These guys have all been hanging out here in front of the chicken hut, and that's why I'm calling the chicken hut. Like I've said, I think I might put a port window in this side. This is the west side. This is the north side, of course, and but I'm definitely on the north side going to cut a couple porthole windows and make them the center of some painted on sunflowers. But yeah, they've been hanging out right around in front of it. And I think that is also because it's been misting. If it starts to pour rain, they can just jump up in there and stay dry. I think they're strategically hanging out there. I mean, they can stay dry under the pavilion, but this seems to be the spot of choice. So, and like I said before, I like having a place that they can be outside but protected and not feel like they're cooped up in the coop. Speaking of the coop, can't really see it real well, but there's Miss Lily sitting down in the dust bath. Let me see if I can get down here. Yeah, and Cosmo is sitting there. He's that white blob sitting on the edge of the dust bath. The dust bath is 8 inches deep. The walls of it are 8 inches, and it's got probably about 3 or 4 inches of sand and soil and First Saturday lime and ash and stuff for them to dust bathe in. But it's hard to see them, but they're in there. All right, bye, Laddie. You guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Share and thank you, and greetings to all any new subscribers. Bye for now.